In the forests of what is now northern Tanzania, a group of great apes is searching for food. Among them are two young females who have just reached maturity. One of them is our ancestor. She will give birth to a son who will be the direct ancestor of all humans alive today. But her son's life will be far from easy. He and his descendants will face many dangers over the next few million years. But they will also experience incredible adventures. They will discover fire, make primitive tools, and learn to walk upright on two legs. And in the process, they will transform the world around them forever. This is the story of our earliest ancestors and the world they lived in. Let's start at the beginning. Our story begins about 4.6 million years ago when a baby chimpanzee was born. Chimpanzees are our closest living relatives, so it makes sense that our ancestors looked and behaved a lot like them. Like chimps, our ancestors spent their days leaping deftly through the trees and their nights sleeping with their paddling mates. They were also probably covered in hair, about 5 feet tall, and walked on all fours. But while chimps spend most of their time eating fruit, our ancestors were more interested in the flesh of animals. In fact, evidence suggests that some species of early humans hunted and butchered bush babies, the small primates that live in the trees of Africa. This was an unusual behavior among primates, but it would become one of the defining characteristics of our species. Hunting other animals would become the main way early humans got their protein, and this, in turn, would have a huge impact on the world around them. As early humans hunted animals for food, they would often kill more prey than they could eat. Instead of letting the rest of the meat go to waste, our ancestors would carefully cut it up and preserve it for later. Archaeologists found these preserved pieces of meat in several ancient caves and archaeological sites across Africa, dating back as far as 2.6 million years. Eating preserved meat would have given early humans access to more calories than eating fresh meat. This meant that early humans could travel further, walk longer distances, and generally live more active lives. And the impact went beyond just the humans. As early humans hunted, they would have scared off large groups of animals, including zebras, wildebeest, and other herbivores. These animals, in turn, would trample the plants growing in the savannas, meaning that our ancestors didn't have to spend time looking for food. All they had to do was follow the herds. In this way, early humans indirectly became the world's first farmers. But there was a problem. While hunting big animals might seem like a good idea, those animals fight back. And big groups of them can be dangerous. Just ask Richard. Richard is a member of the Turkana tribe in Kenya. In 1984, he was walking home from a trip to a watering hole with a friend when they saw a herd of wildebeest stampeding towards them. The two men ran to get away, but Richard tripped and fell. When the herd charged past him, he curled into a ball and protected his head with his hands. When the dust settled, he looked up to see one of his hands had been bitten clean off. Even though Richard survived, he lost his dominant hand and could no longer hunt or gather food for his tribe. This is something early humans would have had to deal with too. Luckily, they had an advantage. Unlike Richard, who couldn't use his right hand, early humans used both hands to hunt, butcher, and eventually farm. This dual use of hands may have even been the key to our survival. After all, without the ability to use both hands, we wouldn't have been able to carry spears, farm crops, build houses, drive cars, or do countless other things that have helped us survive. But if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us grow. Now let's get back to the story. Over time, our ancestors would have noticed something amazing. Sometimes when they killed a large animal, there would be smaller animals nearby that hadn't been harmed. Early humans learned that by killing one animal, they could easily feed themselves and their families for days. At this point, our ancestors probably killed between 60 and 100 animals a year. The problem was that not every animal they hunted was worth eating. For example, early humans probably didn't like the taste of the meat from a warthog, so they would often leave it behind. But this meant that sometimes the same warthog would be killed several times a year. This would have made warthogs a very valuable animal for early humans, and our ancestors would have quickly learned to avoid fighting them. This avoidance behavior led to one of the most important adaptations in human history, walking upright on two legs. When early humans came across a warthog, they would probably stand up on two legs to get a better look at it. This way, they could keep an eye out for danger while also keeping their hands free to hold weapons. Over time, they learned that standing on two legs was much easier than walking on four, and eventually they started doing it all the time. Walking on two legs allowed our ancestors to see farther, run faster, and carry more food. Eventually, they would use their newfound mobility to migrate across Africa and eventually the entire world. Today, humans live on every continent and in almost every environment on Earth. No other animal has come close to achieving this. But none of this would have been possible if it weren't for the world's first farmers. So the next time you eat a piece of fruit or take a bite of vegetables, remember that you are continuing a tradition that began in Africa 2.6 million years ago. Thanks for watching. See you next time.